As the traffic speeds along the busy Bayswater Road to the north of Hyde Park, the cars, buses and trucks pass a line of tall, white-walled houses set back behind a garden. They are part of a gated enclave which goes under the name of Hyde Park Gardens. Few, if any, of the drivers or pedestrians that pass them even notice them, and I would hazard a guess that none of them are aware of the fact that behind one of these stately facades in 1864, a girl was quite literally frightened to death. This is the story of that long-ago tragedy. The Shoreditch Observer provided full details of the tragic occurrence in its edition of Saturday the 30th of January, 1864. Frightened by a ghost. Deplorable death of a young woman. On Monday last, Mr. H. Raffles Walthew, Deputy Coroner, held an inquest at the White Hart Tavern, Kingsland Road, touching the death of a young woman named Priscilla May, aged 19 years, who lost her life through the practical joke of a servant in dressing up as a ghost. Mr. R. May, a cheesemonger carrying on business at number 145 Kingsland Road, said that the deceased, his daughter, was a dressmaker. She was in perfect health when about 4 months ago she went to Mr. Blythe's house in Hyde Park Gardens to do some work. She returned 3 days afterwards looking seriously affected in health. She could hardly breathe, her nostrils were greatly distended and were plugged. She said she had been terribly frightened the night before. As she was going upstairs with the governess and the servant, past the bathroom, the door of the latter was seen to be open. She asked the servant to close the door, and the latter was going to do so when something all in white threw the door wide open and appeared from the darkness. She said that she instantly fell back screaming into the arms of the governess. Blood gushed from her nostrils, and she was carried downstairs insensible. A doctor was sent for, and the servants remained with her all night. It appeared that the apparition in white was a servant who dressed herself all in white in a practical joke. The deceased never recovered from the shock. She lost her appetite, and her mind became affected. She gradually sank, and she died on the 19th instant. Sophia Sturgeon said that she was a servant in the employment of a gentleman residing at 80 Upper Hyde Park Gardens, Bayswater. On the night in question, the witness was preceding Miss Clark, the governess, and the deceased upstairs when she heard a supernatural scream to imitate a ghost. The deceased gave a scream like a laugh and fell. The witness believed she fell upon the stairs. The deceased had been bleeding from the nose during the day. A doctor was sent for. The witness said that Emma Frizzley, the nursery governess, came to the door of the bathroom in her white nightdress as a joke. The witness would swear that none of the other servants were in on the secret. Emma Frizzley, nursery governess, said that she made her appearance in white merely to frighten the persons going upstairs. The other servants knew nothing of her intention. She told the deceased that she was very sorry that she had seriously frightened her. The whole affair was a frolic out of her own head. Mr. Waller, coroner's officer, said that from what could be ascertained, the ghost was not prearranged by the other servants. Mr. A. Catherwood, surgeon, said that he was called into the deceased and found her suffering from loss of blood, from nausea, sleeplessness, and want of appetite. Latterly she became affected in mind. She would not look at the witness, nor answer when spoken to. He believed she died from an obscure affection of the brain conjoined with hysteria. Her death was decidedly accelerated by the fright. The coroner said that the fact of dressing up as a ghost was very foolish and very dangerous. In several cases it produced idiocy, and in the present instance it caused death. It was but right to consider, however, that the young woman who caused the mischief did not intend anything serious, and that she was evidently sincerely sorry for her folly. No doubt this case would act as a warning to young persons, and in that way do a public good. The jury returned a verdict of death from obscure disease of the brain and hysteria, accelerated by fright, and that her said death was caused by misfortune. The proceedings then terminated. And thus the curtain came down on the short life and sad fate of Priscilla May as the protagonists in the saga shuffled back into anonymity. The story is just one of many that must have occurred in similar buildings across the country, or for that matter, around the world. Indeed, many of the buildings we pass on a daily basis will have stories to tell, and will have borne witness to similar events that may just have left a memory or two trapped within their fabric. For, as Longfellow put it, all houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Indeed they are, Henry. Indeed they are.